Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The medical marijuana. The medical marijuana. Radio show. The medical marijuana for you and me. Ah, yeah, the medical marijuana. Whoa, 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 yeah, the medical. It's the medical marijuana show. And you will know.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Hey, boy, don't feel my world untrue. Yeah, I want to talk to you. My world can be true if you do what I tell you to. I want to talk to you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Medical Marijuana Radio, right here on the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network, and it is January the 17th, 2014, Friday night, and welcome to our new time slot, which is 9 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 10 Mountain, and it is early on the East Coast, a little bit better than before at midnight on the East Coast, and we're going to be here to bring you some great interesting stories and information about medical marijuana and recreational marijuana as well. So, starting off first, last week I played some interesting clips from what I call the Moron Channel, and I found some more this week. And once again, we do have Nancy Grace, or Nancy Disgrace, as I call her, and I'll play that in a second. But first, this is kind of long, it's a little over 7 minutes, but this is the head DEA guy being questioned in front of a panel this week, and he is freaking out and he's scared about marijuana being legal. So I thought it was important to understand who the people are that are against us. So listen to this clip.
You're the senior DEA official in charge of enforcement, and the department announced that they weren't going to enforce some drug laws in states that voted to have other type of marijuana policy, and a lot of this is finding its way into my state of Iowa, even though their state laws say it can't happen. What's your view on the department's new policy?
Thank you, Senator. The department put out a policy by which the U.S. attorneys and prosecutors would consider there are 8 different factors in prosecuting cases relative to marijuana. Marijuana is still a Schedule I controlled substance. It's illegal. So we're still enforcing the law. But I will tell you, I'm glad you asked me that, Senator, because I have to say this. I've been 27 years as a DEA agent, 34 years in federal government. A father of 6 great kids and a wife who's hung out with me for 32 years. I've been serving the country since I'm 18 years old. I have to tell you this. And I served in the great state of California for 9 years as a new agent. And I went with you to Redding, California. You don't remember, there was more hair here, when we established an office up there for meth. I must tell you this, because it would be wrong for me to tell you. Going down the path to legalization in this country is reckless and irresponsible. The department has set up factors, sir, and I get that. I'm talking about the long-term impact of legalization in the United States. It scares us. The treatment people are afraid. The education people are afraid. Law enforcement is worried what is going to happen. In every part of the world
They're all
where this
afraid.
experiment has been tried, it has failed time and time again. And here we are. The voters have decided to do this. It's going to impact the state, the surrounding states, and California's done it, ma'am. You know that. California's turned around and done a lot of great things, what they're doing, what they're seeing, and I wish some people would take example of what's happening. There are more dispensaries in Denver than there are Starbucks.
I think you're telling me that federal law ought to be enforced.
What I'm saying, sir, is the idea somehow that people have in our country, and to the extent that some legislators do, county elected officials do, that this is somehow good for us as a nation, sir. That this is good for the next generation of Americans coming up is wrong. It's not it is a bad thing. And this body will get its door knocked on 10 years from now and say, how did we get where we get? People are going to ask us 10 years from now, how did we get where we're getting? And can I just put it in context with Afghanistan? At the International Drug Enforcement Conference that was held in Moscow, which is a planning and an operational meeting that we have every year, where we partner with new partners. Last year, we were in Moscow, 100 different nations. Can I tell you, we're sitting there, the administrator and I meeting with everyone, whether they be political leaders or law enforcement leaders. Almost everyone looked at us and said, why are you doing this? You're pointing the finger at us as a source state, and yet you turn around. I have no answer for them. I don't have an answer for them. I just don't. In 27 years ago, working in Washington Heights as a young agent, senior agents told me we could never work with Colombia. 27 years later, we have Algerians going to Colombia for best practices. I apologize for
He's very verklempt.
my excitement.
He's very verklempt
But this
right
is
now.
a bad experiment. It's a bad experiment, and it's going to cost the United States in terms of social costs. It's going to cost us in criminality. We have, ma'am, you need to know this. We have organizations. We just took it down at Baker.
Here's what it's going to cost, okay? It's going to cost all these people that have invested in private prisons. It's going to cost them 800,000 people a year being arrested. That's what it's going to cost. It's going to free people and cost the moneymakers from their shitty prisons they're making money on. All right, back to this guy. Head of the DEA, seriously. And he was all crying. He's so afraid of what's going to happen on this experiment that is actually really working.
Bakersfield, and a group that took a marijuana dispensary as a front to launder its meth proceeds. We not great case with San Francisco DEA, Bakersfield, Columbia, and Miami. This is the more I'm worried about. The more states that it happen to, they're going to come. You're going to demand from me. You're going to demand from DEA. How are you going to stop that? People think that DEA and law enforcement officers around the world are interested in Billy and his bong and his basement. We're not. We never have been. That's his mother and father's problem. That's not the federal government's problem. That's not Jimmy Capper's problem in DEA. That's a mom and dad problem. What I'm interested in, what DEA has always been interested in, is the trafficking groups that want Billy to be puffing on his bong, the groups that are selling dope to our kids because they live off the backs of addiction. That's what they want. And I think sometimes get lost because there's been great things that have been done here in the United States. Been tremendous things that have been done here. But sir, you asked a question that's really, to some extent, not been answered. It's not been addressed. Ma'am, I know you have. I know you both have. But going down this road, so getting back to the department has given us factors on which prosecutors to prosecute cases. And by the way, we've never gone after, and have done that because people thought we're going after small-time traffickers. I've been DEA for 27 years, never arrested an addict, and I don't have any small-time traffickers that we don't have time for that because we're dealing with things like this on a global scale. I apologize for my excitement.
I'm going to submit my questions for, 3 more questions for answer in writing.
Now they switch, and it's almost over, to Dianne Feinstein, who's been a politician and a senator for a zillion years, a Democratic senator, and I thought she was a liberal, but listen to Dianne Feinstein in 2014. This is a serious embarrassment and belongs on the Moron channel.
It's fine.
So
Thank you,
would you
Senator.
folks answer some questions I submit in writing, because I have to go? Thank you.
Thank you
And
very
thank
much,
you all
Senator
for your
Grassley.
participation.
Let me just address Mr. Capra's
I think I'm going to
statement,
stay and
which
listen to what you say.
I see one of great law enforcement frustration, and I tend to agree. I oppose the legalization of marijuana in California with most of law enforcement.
Vote her out.
We beat it back that time. Whether we'll beat it back the next time, I have no clue. I believe that it is the wrong thing to do socially. I believe that it is a gateway drug. I believe that it leads to other things.
Okay, I just have to comment. Every time I hear someone comment about it's a gateway drug, I got to say I do agree with them. It is a gateway out of hard drugs. These people are just living in the wrong time. I don't know what's going on. People are going backwards.
And the fronting for methamphetamine is one of them. It's one thing to use it with a doctor's prescription to ease pain, particularly in a terminal situation. I understand that. And there are probably components of certain kinds of marijuana that can be used to treat babies medically. We're seeing that happen. But to say it should be used socially on an ongoing and robust basis, and I think, you know, your analogy that there are more marijuana stores in Denver than Starbucks is an interesting one.
Well, you know, again, people like this should be voted out of office. You know, she used to come off as this holier-than-thou Democrat, and she's totally talking like a Republican now. It's really ridiculous. This is 2014. 2014. Now, listen to what's up next. Now, last week I played some stuff from Nancy Disgrace. I call her Nancy Disgrace. And, you know, once again, she is just so out of touch. Listen carefully. Wait till you hear what she says. And she's talking with Mason Tvert, who is a wonderful person who helped legalize and is responsible for what happened in Colorado. So here is Nancy Grace, and listen up, because this is like, you couldn't write this as a parody.
Back to Brad Lamb joining us, addiction specialist and founder of Breathe. It is a life healing center. Also with us, Mason Tvert, communications director of the Marijuana Policy Project. All right, Mason Tvert, let's first ask you, what is the Marijuana Policy Project? What is that? And do you get paid by them?
Well, yeah, that's my job. Our goal is to end marijuana prohibition and replace it with a system where marijuana is regulated and taxed and treated similarly to alcohol. It's a system that a majority of Americans now think would be a much preferable system to the one that we have.
Okay, and again, in a nutshell, if you could, you think marijuana should be legalized because why? I mean, you do know it's addictive, highly addictive, right?
Well, marijuana's addictive properties have been found to be actually pretty mild compared to not only alcohol and tobacco, but even caffeine. So, you know, the question is this.
So
do
are
we
you
really need
admitting
to be
that it is
criminalizing
addictive?
adults, Nancy?
You do admit that
yeah,
it's
so
addictive.
is sex, so are video games. The thing is that
Well,
you just
I
you do
disagree
not
with
like
you.
the people that use
I
marijuana.
disagree with you.
You just
I
don't like
completely-
people who use marijuana, and you want to
No,
see them
that's not
punished.
it.
But the fact
No,
is that they're
actually-
normal people just like you. They enjoy using marijuana for the same reasons people like having a drink after work, and they shouldn't be made criminals for it.
Actually, Brad Lamb, the reason I'm against the legalization of pot is because I've seen too many felonies. And I don't mean pot sales or growing pot like this guy up in Connecticut. I mean people on pot that shoot each other, that stab each
wrecked
other,
lives, the
strangle
screwed
each
up
other,
brains, the troubled
drive
families.
under the influence, kill families, wipe out a whole family.
Shoot each other, kill people, and wipe out whole families. I don't know where she's getting this stuff. I mean, it's Reefer Madness, 1937, and she must have been reincarnated or something. But unbelievable. Shooting people and wiping out whole families because of marijuana. What's wiping out whole families about marijuana is being put in jail and having your lives ruined because of the legality of the Schedule 1. That's what's killing people.
The first time I
You know,
ever had a pot
you sound
case,
like you're from the 1930s.
this female
No,
stock.
but I have to.
Hold on, Brad.
Nick.
The first time I ever came in the first case, it was a plea, and there was this gorgeous lady standing in the middle of the courtroom crying. And I didn't understand. I said, well, what is this case? Somebody else was taking a plea, and they said she's a stockbroker. She got addicted to pot. She ended up losing her job, wrecked her car, couldn't make the house payments on her house. So her husband got custody of the children. So now she has no car, no house, no family, nothing.
And the advocates for pot, to your point, sir, that's advocating pot, is they're so thin-skinned. On one hand, they're saying, hey, it's no big deal. It's not as addictive as alcohol or meth. It doesn't wreck as many lives. And then I have all these moms over here with whom I work, and on Twitter, Nancy, who have said, you know, this has wiped out our family. This has caused a lot of pain and suffering in the lives of our loved ones. So the pot advocates have terribly thin skin, and I think there's really the pot profit motive that he's really advocating for more than anything.
Brad, let me ask you a question.
And pot does wreck a lot of lives.
Sir, I work for a nonprofit organization. You're a treatment specialist who gets paid because people get referred to treatment when they get arrested for marijuana.
Once again, and I point out this all the time, every time you see these people on as talking heads on these shows, the ones that are against run rehab centers, and they're usually in the psychiatric community, which is so against marijuana, because when people smoke marijuana, instead of taking those hard pharmaceuticals, they end up getting better and don't want to go back to the psychiatrists. So these guys, you watch this when you watch around when you see these people. It's always the psychiatrists that are against it.
I mean, this
When
is
they're
absolutely ridiculous. There's no
addicted
evidence
to
that marijuana leads
marijuana.
to
Whoa.
violent, aggressive
When they're
behavior.
addicted.
Do
Let me
but
correct
not for
you,
nothing.
Mr.
Yeah,
Tucker.
9%.
When they
According
are
to the Institute of
addicted.
Medicine, according to the Institute of Medicine,
but a
about
nonprofit
9% of people who
does
try
not
marijuana become
indicate
addictive. Compared
the moral or ethical core of the work you do, sir. You know, just because you have a nonprofit doesn't,
you know, if
doesn't
you
mean
wanna
that you're
talk-
doing meaningful work. Anybody can have a nonprofit.
Sir, give me a break. Come on. The fact is that a majority of Americans are on my side because your side cannot come up with a legitimate argument for
I'm
why
not
we should
for
keep
criminalizing pot,
adults
but if your
for using a
argument
less
is
harmful
it's not
substance
as
than
bad
alcohol.
as meth or alcohol, that's a ridiculous
Do you drink,
proposition.
sir? Do you consume alcohol?
I
Do you
don't.
consume alcohol?
I've been clean and sober for 11
You
years.
don't. You never
I don't.
drink. You don't hang out with people who drink. You absolutely are sober.
I do
well,
hang-
you are
I
one
do
of
hang
the
out with
10%
people
of
that drink.
Americans like that.
Well,
Do you think
know
that they
what,
should be
Brad,
criminalized
I guess
struggled
that
with
makes
addiction.
you and me complete space aliens, because the last thing I want is for the children, my twins, to see me boozing it up. I mean, when my
Impaired,
husband drinks
being a
Diet
bad
Coke,
parent.
Brad, I make him put it in an opaque plastic cup. I don't even want them to see him having soda, okay? If they want to make those...
She doesn't want her kids to see their father drinking soda. I don't know what to say to that.
The pot
decisions,
advocates,
when they're
Nancy, have such
18, that's
thin
their
skin.
decision. Yeah, you know, you do have thin skin,
Okay, Mason is
Mason.
incredulous.
You seem like
I
you can't
have
believe
perfectly
somebody can
thick
live
skin. If you
without
can see
drinking
me,
or
you
being
can tell.
high.
I mean, the thing is, you guys are spewing these claims from the 1920s and 30s that have been debunked by the largest health and science organizations
but
in
Mason,
the world.
But
the
Mason,
World Health
that's a lie.
Organization, the Institute of
National
Medicine
Institute on Drug
disagree with
Abuse
you.
has a study that is
which
a
is the
recent
most
study,
politicized federal
and
Okay,
agency
cut
around.
Mason's mic, because Brad can't get a word in.
it talks that pot is less addictive than meth and alcohol, less addictive than nicotine. But for those who it has a profound negative effect, it screws their life up, Mason, and addiction does result with folks
Okay,
that
you know,
get
Brad,
addicted to pot.
Brad, I normally agree with you, but I think you and Mason, where's Mason? Where's Brad? I think you're
Mason went
both,
away.
I think you're both missing my point, and that point is you seem to be offering me only a life where I've got to be drinking booze, or I've got to be smoking, or I've got to be high on pot. And you know what? I really think there's a different way to live.
Well, she can live that life, but let's not hear about it ourselves. You know, how disgusting is that? People on pot kill people and kill their families. It's just amazing. We'll be right back after this break.
It's all about the 420 MMJ Radio.
Hi, as you know, over the next few years, the cannabis industry is going to explode into a multi-million-dollar industry. 420webdesign.com is your affordable design provider. 420 Web Design prides themselves on fair prices and a grounded staff. They listen to their ganjapreneurs' website needs. Getting into the marijuana industry doesn't need to break your bank. Our sites come with tons of features. Just a few of them include responsive designs for mobile viewers, easy to update platforms, built-in SEO and SMO tools, enterprise-level security, video tutorials, database backups, Google Maps, onboard analytics, and much more. This is backed by a decade of website design and development experience. Hey, Mike? For all of your 420 Web Mike, it's
Oh,
Design Larry. needs, go to We're- 420webdesign.com. Again, 420webdesign.com. Check them out.
Serious Seeds is your source for quality cannabis and sativa seeds. Serious Seeds are the creators of legendary strains like AK-47, Bubblegum, Chronic, Cali Mist, and White Russian. The AK-47 is probably the most awarded strain on the planet. The high THC content of AK-47 makes it the perfect medical strain for patients seeking quick pain relief. Cali Mist is an almost pure sativa. Female medical cannabis patients have reported that this strain helps relieve menstrual cramps. Serious Seeds just acquired another Dutch high-quality seed bank, Magus Genetics. From now on, Serious Seeds can offer you even more award-winning strains. The fine folks at Serious Seeds strive to breed the best cannabis genetics that they can find, so patients can rely on the effectiveness of their medicine. Go to SeriousSeeds.com to grow your medicine. That site again is SeriousSeeds.com.
Hi, this is Larry Love from Medical Marijuana Radio. Please listen to this important information about a great device by magicalbutter.com to make your oils, tinctures, and butter.
Magical Butter is a device with a microprocessor-controlled program sequence designed by a scientist and a chemist to precisely extract the benefits of various herbs. We believe in herbal remedies and using pharmaceutical pills only when medically necessary. Our device is simple to use. Combine herbs with butter or oil, press a button, and walk away. Magical Butter does everything else. It grinds, heats, and stirs. Please browse our site to discover how to eat the treat. Thank you for your support, and have a magical day.
Again, for your tinctures, butter, and oils, that's magicalbutter.com. This is a great appliance. Use coupon code LOVE to get $20 off.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
Hi, this is Steve D'Angelo, and you are listening to Medical Marijuana Radio.
Okay, we are back, and we had somebody that wanted to call in, and I'm going to hook them in right now. So stand by. And let's see. I think this is it right here. Here we go. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. This is Larry from Medical Marijuana
you?
Radio. You're live on the air. Can you hear me okay?
Larry.
Yes. Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, this is Michael. Yeah, I can.
All right, cool, Mike. Mike, now you're from Arizona, and you're very involved in what's going on over there. And you mentioned to me that you have a new hemp thing going on. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've been working on a retail store for a couple of years called the Hemp Mart, and I'm having a grand opening on February 7th in downtown Phoenix. It's going to be a retail store slash hemp museum, a little 4-bedroom house that I'm turning into a little hippie shack, kind of cool little head shop, and got some exciting stuff planned. And I don't know if you've heard of 420 football, that we're going to be having a game. Have you heard of it, Larry?
No, I haven't. What's 420 football?
It's a game that some friends of mine in California designed for smoking medicine out of specially designed bongs, and I don't know all the rules and regulations, but you take a hit and you hold it for so many minutes, and you get farther down the field, and you get extra points for not coughing, and you kick field goals and certain things, and I don't understand it all, but I'm going to learn about it on February 7th because we're going to have a game.
Sure. Do people sometimes run the wrong direction?
Oh, sure. Yeah, and commit fouls and the whole bit, and get penalties, and if you cough, it's a penalty, and there's so many rules I can't remember them all. But
all right, so Mike,
I'll get it all down, and
tell me about what you mean by the hemp museum. What kind of stuff will you have in there for people to see?
Basically, I'm asking for donations and looking for products from day one, back in the 1800s when they used to grow it, and just pictures and just all kinds of different museum artifacts. And going to start traveling the country, and going to go to a champ show here in Tuesday of next week and see if I can't get some memorabilia there. And just got some exciting stuff happening here in Phoenix, and trying to collect signatures for Safer Arizona to legalize it here in Arizona in November of 2014.
Tell me about that. Tell me about Safer Arizona.
It's saferarizona.org. You can go there and sign the petition to legalize marijuana and industrial hemp in 2014. We need about, I think, 100,000 more signatures by July 15th to get it on the ballot for voting in November.
So, are there other organizations? Are there other people trying to get something on the ballot in 2014, or is it just this one petition?
Just this one petition in Arizona, but there's a California petition to legalize completely for industrial hemp, and I've got family that has 10,000 acres of land that they just lease out to sweet potato farmers, and I've been telling them about industrial hemp like Colorado's growing, and they're getting educated. In fact, I'm leaving the 10th to go to my hometown of Atwater, California, to educate the farmers about struggling to grow industrial hemp and getting ready and geared up in case it gets legalized in November.
Now I know that they've legalized industrial hemp in other states, okay? Kentucky and Colorado, Washington, and so forth. So where do you think the seeds are going to come from?
Probably from South America, Australia, Canada.
Mm-hmm. And
China.
just like, see, I don't know very much about hemp, and I don't know if you can answer this question, but just like there are different strains of marijuana, cannabis marijuana that's not hemp that gets you high. Are there many different strains and crosses of the hemp plant that make things different and grow differently?
I'm far from an expert, but I think there's maybe 2, as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
I could be totally wrong, but it's not like marijuana. There's not 120,000 different strains and different names on the male plant. It's pretty much what it is.
So
there's one strain they grow for the seed, and then there's one strain they grow for the actual stock, and there might even be a third one that they grow for the pulp, to make it better pulp for paper.
Making paper and stuff, yeah. So what else would you like to talk about today before I start reading some more news?
Well, just wanted to educate people about the benefits of this wonderful plant, and appreciate your time.
Sure.
I was really trying to call into Cannabis Common Sense for the last hour, up there in Portland, but couldn't get through. So hopefully I'll get a hold of Paul when I head up there in March. There's a marijuana festival in Eugene, the 7th, 8th, and 9th of March that I'll be going to for advertising my television network on the internet called Green Thumb TV.
Green Thumb TV. Okay, do you want to give out
any... check it out at
Go ahead.
onnowtv.com/784. Take you right to my channel. There's some very educational videos there. Jack Hare documentary. It's very educational for people that don't know why hemp's illegal and marijuana It's an hour-long documentary, but if you want to just fast forward about 28 minutes in, it tells you within about 2 minutes why hemp and marijuana are illegal.
All right. Well,
very good documentary, and I appreciate you calling, Larry. And
sure, dude.
If there's ever anything I can do for you, I'm a phone call away.
Absolutely, dude. We're here now every Friday night at 9 p.m. Pacific, and Saturdays, of course, at 6 p.m. Pacific. So, Mike, thanks for calling, and if you have anything to promote in the future or what's going on in Arizona, give us a call. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Let me remind you about the Hemp Mart grand opening. It's February 7th. It's coming up in 2 weeks. It's the address is 911 4th Street. It's on the corner of Roosevelt and 4th Street in downtown Phoenix. It's going to start at 6 o'clock, probably go till about midnight. Got music and food trucks and blow-up balloons and stuff for kids. And
what day of the week is that? What day of the week is that?
It's Friday, the first Friday in February.
Okay, well, maybe
There's a thing that first Friday downtown, they do it first Friday of every month. They close off part of the streets, and
Sure.
it turns into a big street fair, and there's about 1,000 people, or more than 1,000.
All right. Well, maybe you'll call. Maybe you'll call in from there. I'll be live, on the radio that night. So maybe you'll call in
Yeah,
and
if
give us a
If
report.
you can remember to call me, I'll be pretty busy, but
Okay.
I'll take time when you call me to
All right, buddy.
talk on the show for a minute.
All right, buddy.
All right,
Thanks.
Larry.
Thanks
Hey,
a
you
lot.
take care, brother.
Talk to you soon. And that's Mike from Arizona. So what I'd like to do right now is I have a couple more clips to play, and this next one is the leaders in Denver. I guess I don't know if it's the city council or one of those groups. They got an update on what happened in the first 2 weeks of the legal pot sales, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I'm going to play that for you now.
2 weeks since the first legal recreational marijuana stores opened up in Denver.
Time flies when those folks are having fun. Tonight, Denver city leaders got an update on how the sales are going. And Fox 31 Denver's Julie Hayden joins us from one of the stores on South Broadway with new information about what's going right and what's going wrong. Julie?
You know, Jeremy, when they first opened these doors on January 1st, nobody really knew what to expect. But at today's review meeting, city council members said that things are really going about as well as they could have hoped.
The first 10, come on in. Have your IDs ready.
2 weeks into the retail sale of marijuana in Denver, things continue to run smoothly from the city, the industry, and the police point of view.
We did have extra resources. We did monitor all the retailers that were open on the first. While the lines were long, they were very orderly.
Police Chief Robert White says they cited 2 people for smoking pot in public on the 16th Street Mall that first day, and in the past 2 weeks have cited only 9 people total for violating the city's new marijuana ordinances.
Right to the agenda.
Denver City Council members spent months in meetings on the new retail marijuana industry and met again today to review the rollout. Judy Steele with the city's Excise and License Department told council members as of tonight there are 28 retail marijuana stores doing business in Denver and about 100 more in the licensing process.
We're on track and we continue to license establishments daily.
You can go in.
The long lines seen on opening day are gone.
Just an eighth of indica.
But the retail marijuana business appears to be booming, although it will be several weeks before they get any numbers on how much sales tax the city will reap. Now, city council members are concerned about one thing, and that is the upcoming 420 event at Civic Center Park. The promoter says he expects at least 10,000 people to show up. Typically, they light up as well. That would be a violation of the new city laws. In Denver, Julie Hayden, Fox 31 Denver.
Okay, so the experiment that the DEA guy earlier in the show said wasn't working is actually working. And more good news as this experiment goes on. New Hampshire's House of Representatives on Wednesday approved legalizing marijuana for recreational use, making it the first state legislative chamber ever to do so, according to the Marijuana Policy Project, a pro-legalization group. The bill regulates marijuana in much the same way as it's regulated in Colorado and Washington, where voters, not legislators, approved legalization. The beginning of legal sales of pot in Colorado on January 1st made national and potentially world history, experts say. So in New Hampshire, they expect that the bill would impose a $30 wholesale tax on every ounce of marijuana sold. The going rate for a medium quality ounce of marijuana in New Hampshire is about $290, according to priceofweed.com, which collects submissions of local prices that people send into them, and the estimate is based on 451 submissions. So Another state. They're falling like dominoes. They're falling like dominoes. We'll be right back.
Think it's time for a change. You may get disgusted, start thinking that I'm strange. Then kids are go on the ground, get some heavy rest. Never have to worry about what is worse or what is best. Do it. Oh, domino. Didn't call. All vice versa. That depends on whatever you're at. And if you never hear from me, that just means I was rather that. Oh, domino. All right. Romeo, there you go. Lord have mercy. I said, oh, domino.
Falling like dominoes, everybody. We're going to take I got to replay that. We're going to take another little break for the sponsors, and we'll be right back.
It's all about the 420 MMJ Radio.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is HEMP.org.
Hi, this is Larry Love from Medical Marijuana Radio. Please listen to this important information about a great device by magicalbutter.com to make your oils, tinctures, and butter.
Magical Butter is a device with a microprocessor-controlled program sequence designed by a scientist and a chemist to precisely extract the benefits of various herbs. We believe in herbal remedies and using pharmaceutical pills only when medically necessary. Our device is simple to use. Combine herbs with butter or oil, press a button, and walk away. Magical butter does everything else. It grinds, heats, and stirs. Please browse our site to discover how to eat the treat. Thank you for your support, and have a magical day.
Again, for your tinctures, butter, and oils, that's magicalbutter.com. This is a great appliance. Use coupon code LOVE to get $20 off.
Serious Seeds is your source for quality cannabis and sativa seeds. Serious Seeds are the creators of legendary strains like AK-47, Bubblegum, Chronic Cali Mist, and White Russian. The AK-47 is probably the most awarded strain on the planet. The high THC content of AK-47 makes it the perfect medical strain for patients seeking quick pain relief. Cali Mist is an almost pure sativa. Female medical cannabis patients have reported that this strain helps relieve menstrual cramps. Serious Seeds just acquired another Dutch high-quality seed bank, Magus Genetics. From now on, Serious Seeds can offer you even more award-winning strains. The fine folks at Serious Seeds strive to breed the best cannabis genetics that they can find, so patients can rely on the effectiveness of their medicine. Go to SeriousSeeds.com to grow your medicine. That site again is SeriousSeeds.com.
Hi, as you know, over the next few years, the cannabis industry is going to explode into a multi-million-dollar industry. 420webdesign.com is your affordable design provider. 420 Web Design prides themselves on fair prices and a grounded staff. They listen to their ganjapreneurs' website needs. Getting into the marijuana industry doesn't need to break your bank. Our sites come with tons of features. Just a few of them include responsive designs for mobile viewers, easy to update platforms, built-in SEO and SMO tools, enterprise-level security, video tutorials, database backups, Google Maps, onboard analytics, and much more. This is backed by a decade of website design and development experience. For all of your 420 web design needs, go to 420webdesign.com. Again, 420webdesign.com. Check them out.
The medical marijuana. The medical marijuana. Radio show.
Okay, we're back, and I do have some more clips, and of course we have open lines. So if you'd like to call in, I want this to be your output for what you want to talk about with medical or recreational cannabis every week. You can call 505-514-0098. That line is open. All the lines are open. Or if you have Skype, which is the best way to call in, Skype us at MMJRadio. Now, I still have some more stuff about Colorado. Obviously, that's where all the action is. And there was a doctor who was convicted and sentenced this week, who was a medical marijuana recommendation doctor. You know, people went to him and they set up a sting on him, and here's what happened this week with his sentencing and the whole story.
Dr. Dallas Williams had a large show of supporters here at the courthouse from family, friends, and also medical marijuana supporters. The longtime Larimer County doctor was caught prescribing medical marijuana to a patient who had no medical problems, an undercover police officer. He was convicted of influencing a public servant. Prosecutors say that Williams did not even examine the undercover officer's foot. The doctor says the situation has not only destroyed his reputation, his ability to earn money, but also caused him to lose his medical license. The judge says Williams' refusal to acknowledge that he did anything wrong is concerning. He sentenced Williams to 3 years probation and 180 hours of community service.
It's sort of like that. I've been in a bad dream, a nightmare. And having had such a good life for 73 years and then have this nightmare, this evil thing, seems like I keep thinking it's going to go away. But this evil nightmare doesn't go away.
He didn't even look at the ankle. So everyone I talked to, which were multiple lawyers, the first thing out of their mouths were, holy cow, he didn't even check the ankle. He didn't even look at the ankle. He didn't even look at the pant leg.
And Williams was one of 2 doctors that was caught up in this sting. The other one, Dr. Joseph Montante, was also convicted and had a similar sentencing. In Fort Collins, Jennifer Bryce, CBS 4 News.
So that's not the only place that it's happened. There are at least two people here in New Mexico that lost their licenses or were suspended from them for, I'm not even sure why, to be honest with you, because here in New Mexico at least, the Linen, Air, and Compassionate Act protects physicians from being prosecuted for anything within the state. And federally, that's another story, but these doctors in Colorado weren't charged federally, I don't believe. So anyway, that's not good news. And of course, there's some more negative news, but this was bound to happen. Pot dispensaries are stepping up security after multiple break-ins in Colorado.
This burglar determined to get in.
He just gets our change, basically.
Head of security Nick Spidell says it's just the latest attempt. This time, though, look, the thief is wearing a mask and gloves, and you can see as he bends over, this one is armed.
It makes sleeping a little bit harder.
Criminals know these stores deal in large amounts of cash and may see them as lucrative targets. Denver's police chief tells city council in the first 11 days of the year, thieves broke into 7 dispensaries.
Those numbers are relatively consistent with the number of burglaries that we have in those businesses throughout the year.
We added this one.
At the Green Depot, owner Matt Booter added new security doors and cameras after thieves made off with a few grams of pot left out in these sample jars.
They hear that large amounts of cash are on hand. They hear, but unless you want to get into a safe or a vault, it's not available.
Dispensaries are required to lock up their cash and their crop, and security is highly regulated with cameras required. They hope if they make it hard enough, word will spread among thieves. Pot shops are not easy targets. Back live here at the Green Depot, they say they've had thieves try to pry these window bars off the windows a couple of times, only to find that there is steel plating behind it. Still, pot shop owners say the key is banking. As long as they don't have access to bank accounts, they will have to find ways to store large amount of cash, either on property or to take it off. And until that's done, the thieves will be trying to take it from them. Reporting live, Jacqueline Allen, 7 News.
So still the banking situation is very, very bad. So that needs to be worked out. The federal government, I thought, was loosening up on that, but I guess they haven't really told the banks yet. So we'll have to see how that works out. It's really a bad situation. Now, also because of recreational marijuana in Colorado and Washington, of course, Colorado got started first, so that's where most of these stories are always coming from. But this next one is about edible marijuana sales are shattering the projections that they had in Colorado. And I find that pretty interesting, but expected. I think there's a lot of people that never had edibles before because they just really weren't available on the black market. So they're getting to this for the first time. And of course, you got to be careful with edibles if you've never had them before. It can be quite an interesting experience if you've never done it. So here's this report.
Pot so popular, a 1-month supply gone in just 3 days. As 7 News reporter Russell Haythorne reports, the demand is spurring new jobs and new businesses.
Cash only, long lines, constant foot traffic.
We are working hard.
That's the reality at pot shops like Lodo Wellness.
We like to call ourselves the future of cannabis.
So much demand, they limit customers here to 3 smokable grams a day and only 2 edibles. That's because their supplier, Dixie Elixirs and Edibles, is slamming to keep up.
Actually, demand's been huge, right? And our employees have been just killing it, working around the clock.
Joe Hodis is the chief marketing officer for Dixie, which makes marijuana-infused chocolates, mints, topical lotions, and elixirs.
Which is a soda that comes in a variety of flavors.
Hodis says without rationing at shops like this, they can't keep the product on the shelves. Dixie is building out a new 30,000 square foot manufacturing facility to help meet significantly greater demand than expected. The industry is experiencing so much success, there's also a new hiring service that provides temporary employees.
Hemp temps is what they're called.
New job creation is shattering projections.
Looking at upwards of maybe 10,000 new jobs that will be created over the next few years.
There's also a new crop of courier services.
We can't use traditional couriers. Obviously, you can't use mail.
Pot-specific businesses helping to fill the gaps.
There's demand for the product, really doing great stuff in terms of building the coffers in the state from a tax and revenue standpoint.
In Lodo, Russell Haythorne, 7 News.
Now, so far, only Colorado allows recreational marijuana sales. Washington, the state of Washington, will do so later on this year. Because of the demand, some experts predict more than $2 billion in legal pot sales in the U.S. this year.
Okay, we have someone that wants to call in, so I'm going to call him right now. Michael.
Yes.
Michael. Hi, Michael Krawitz. This is Larry at Medical Marijuana Radio. Thanks for listening tonight. And what's up, man? I know you're doing a show on Sundays right here on Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network, right?
Indeed, I do the International Cannabis News Report on this coming Sunday, and then next Sunday it'll be the Cannabis Museum Radio Hour. And this Sunday we have Chris Conrad, and he's going to come in and talk about some of the great news headlines and things, and kind of get a little bit of an overview feel from some of the work that he does with the West Coast Leaf. And next Sunday we have one of our heroes really here, Fred Gardner is going to be on the show, and we're going to kind of tribute the show to the great Dr. Todd Mikaria.
Tell me, I'm not familiar with Todd. Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, it's hard to talk a little about Dr. Todd. In short, Dr. Todd was at a certain point in time was the guy that took on the federal government almost in its entirety on the issue of medical marijuana. And at another point, he was a guy that the federal government leaned on as their expert on medical marijuana. It's funny how things can switch from, swing from one end to the other. But yeah, Dr. Mikaria was in a high position in the SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Authority, and they used to, a long time ago, have authority over the drugs issue in the federal government before the DEA and all that started. And at that time, in the 60s, at some point, Dr. Mikaria was the point person for the federal government on marijuana and answered these questions. He was the editor of a book, the Marijuana Medical Papers, and he brought back 100 years of studies and created basically the baseline by which we do everything since.
So has he switched sides? Is that what's going on? He was against it, now he's for it?
Oh no, this is for next week. Dr. Mikaria is like a historical icon. I mean, he's somebody we're talking about. Really, what we're trying to do, in essence, is look at the history of where we've come from, and try to look at where we are now and where we're going through that lens. Try to learn from our past.
Right. So your show is on Sundays. At what time now?
It's 3 p.m. Eastern time. I guess it's noon Pacific time.
Okay.
You're in the middle.
Is that a 1 hour show also?
Yes, 1 hour show. Yep.
Cool. How are you enjoying that?
I'll tell you, it's been an adventure right from the beginning with working with Casper. I started a project with him working internationally. We had so many great groups that were working on international treaties and on the law internationally that really weren't well known to the broader reform movement, and because of that, and because I work closely with a lot of those people, we had a series of shows that we did on that international subject matter a couple years ago, and growing from that, we then morphed and did a few other things, and wound up that same Friday slot is now Small Town Fridays, and I continue that today with Casper. I'm the joint host. Today we had a great show. We had Sean Azarati, who was the very first person to buy legal marijuana in Colorado, and it was under somewhat of a fanfare staged purchase, and he is a veteran, a war veteran.
Right, I think I played some of those clips on the 4th, on my show on the 4th, that I'm putting up as a special sometime later next week. That Time for Hemp was on a vacation, but I did a show, and I played a lot of that, and it was very fantastic, and I was very happy for him that he was a veteran and is a veteran, and he got to do that. So I really, it was an amazing time. Were you in Colorado that week, or were you home?
No, I was kind of vicariously involved in the way that I usually am behind the scenes, and working behind the scenes goes back quite a ways with Sean, because we go back several years with several attempts to add post-traumatic stress to the state law for medical marijuana in Colorado.
And that still hasn't happened, has it?
Well, no, it hasn't. And in fact, the way that they treated us and the way that they treated, people like Sean and other war veterans that came in and spoke, and the disrespect that they've given, just generally to our attempts to add that medical condition. That was part of the main ammunition, if you will, to in our arsenal to legalize marijuana in Colorado, and I find that just fascinating. The MPP is not stupid at all.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They used this angle, if you will, to its greatest purpose. And Sean, wasn't a puppet or a pawn in this. I mean, he felt very strongly that we've tried our diligently best to add post-traumatic stress through the normal channels. Well, heck, we'll just legalize it for all adults. That'll at least allow someone with post-traumatic stress to walk in and get it. And sure enough, on that day, he did.
Well, it was a fantastic day, and I felt it here, and I waited 45 years for that day, and of course, we're trying to legalize here in New Mexico, possibly in 2014, because the legislature, there's a state senator that wants to try to put a bill based on Colorado's up, and I'm hoping that we can get enough people to vote for it. That'll be exciting. Anyway, we got about 1 minute left, so I thank you very much, Mike. Listen to Mike's show, and you can check it out on timeforhemp.com. There's a schedule, and you can look at all of our shows. So we'll be right back after this.
The medical marijuana. The medical marijuana. Radio show. The medical marijuana.
Well, I want to thank Michael for calling in, Michael Krawitz, and listen to his show right here on timeforhemp.com. And I also want to thank the other Mike from Arizona. And we'll be back next week with have some guests lined up. Should be pretty interesting. So don't forget to tune in. Again, our new time on Friday nights is going to be 9 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 Mountain, and midnight on the East Coast. This will allow us to have some more guests and so forth. So I want to thank my two radio mentors, both with the initials HS, and I thank you for your inspiration. Don't forget to listen to Wednesdays with Larawana on canawanabuy.com. Every Wednesday I do a short 5-minute show with the latest in recreational and medical marijuana news and info. So feel well, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Also, if you want to write us, it's info@mmjradio.com. info@mmjradio.com.
Shalom.
Feel well, everybody. Good night.